The fake heiress wants to give me the black card that can be swiped worldwide, she told the whole family through her inner voice. All I want is the love of mom and dad. In this life, I, the master of inner voice editing, directly added a sentence at the end of her inner voice. If my sister doesn't accept it, she doesn't accept me, I'll go to the rooftop right now, spill 3 feet of blood, and prove my determination with death. My parents' expressions changed drastically upon hearing this. And without hesitation, they snatched the black card and shoved it into my hand. Hurry up and take it. This is your sister's heartfelt gift. No refusing. Watching the fake heiress's pale face, I gracefully accepted. Since she loves being modest, I'll make sure every one of her acts of modesty becomes a reality. I have taken everything that belongs to my sister. Sister, you must accept this black card. As soon as the words fell, the inner thoughts of the fake heiress, Shu Yunyun, followed closely. I don't want anything, I only want the love of mom and dad. But this time, I silently added a sentence at the end of her thoughts. If you don't accept it, it means you don't accept me. I'll go to the rooftop right now, spill 3 feet of blood, and prove my sincerity with death. My parents and brother, who could hear her inner thoughts, were terrified. Immediately, my mom snatched the black card from her hand and shoved it into mine without a second thought. Xiao Qiu, take it quickly. This is your sister's heartfelt gift. No refusing. Mom's tone was firm. It seemed she was frightened by the line I had altered. Blood will spill 3 feet. I was still putting on a show of refusing, saying, oh, this is too valuable. I can't accept it. My brother, who had been cold-faced ever since I returned home, also urged me. Just take it if it's given to you. What's with all this back and forth? Shu Yunyun widened her eyes, her face full of disbelief. Her act of modesty didn't earn her the praise of being sensible or kind-hearted. The tactic of retreating to advance ended up with her just retreating, and retreating. Successfully returned my black card. The perfect mask on her face cracked for the first time. A sense of satisfaction surged within me as I gracefully accepted the card. Clearly, Shu Yunyun was not willing to give up. She quickly adjusted her expression, her smile appearing both aggrieved and magnanimous. Since my sister is back, I should give up the large room with the private bathroom and balcony for her. I can just move to the guest room. I lowered my eyelids, my hands nervously twisting the hem of my clothes. No need, Yunyun. I'm used to small rooms from living back home. I can sleep anywhere in the house, really. It's fine. Shu Yunyun's inner voice came online again. Sister has told me several times before that she envies my big room and likes it a lot. Sigh, it's fine, after all. I'm not the biological daughter of the Shu family, so it's only right that I endure a little grievance. As long as sister is happy, that's all that matters. A thought suddenly crossed my mind, and I quickly added a line after her inner voice. Otherwise, without the status of the Shu family's daughter and my parents as my cash cows to rely on, I wouldn't be able to endure the hardships of being poor. What would be the point of living then? This altered inner thought simultaneously exploded in the minds of mom, dad, and brother. Mom and dad furrowed their brows, and when they looked at Shu Yunyun again, their gazes sharpened considerably. It was as if they were truly examining this daughter they had doted on for over a decade for the first time. Brother Shu Lang's reaction was even more direct, carrying an unmistakable bias. Shu Xiaoqiu, Yunyun is physically weak and has a simple mind. She has never suffered such grievances before. Although she sincerely offered it to you, you shouldn't. He wanted to say that I shouldn't push my luck. I looked up and interrupted him. Brother, back in my hometown, the winters were cold and the summers were hot. I never had my own room and always slept by the kitchen stove. Now that I'm back home and have a place to shelter from the wind and rain, I'm already very content. The size of the room doesn't matter. In my previous life, I did live a frugal life at my adoptive parents' home. But saying I slept in the kitchen is a bit of an exaggeration. But at this moment, combined with Shu Yunyun's altered inner thoughts about disliking the hardships of poverty, the impact of this statement was magnified countless times. My mother's eyes reddened, and a flicker of guilt and heartache crossed her face. Father also coldly decided, since Yunyun doesn't want to live here anymore, the room will go to Xiaoqiu. From now on, it will be Xiaoqiu's room. Shu Yunyun opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but found herself at a loss for words. That night, as I lay in the spacious master bedroom, I checked the spending limit on the black card. That long string of zeros almost made me laugh out loud. In my past life, Shu Yunyun, with her hypocritical inner thoughts, repeatedly pushed me into desperate situations. On the surface, she would say, if my sister likes it, let her have it, but in her heart, she was thinking, all she cares about is money. The entire family was bewitched by her. They thought I was greedy, mean-spirited, and always competing with her. I suffered through my family's disdain and bullying from classmates. In the end, I jumped from the rooftop, putting an end to my painful life. Fortunately, heaven has given me a second chance, and granted me the ability to alter her inner thoughts. Doesn't she love to act humble and selfless? Then I'll play along and turn her hypocritical words into reality. She wants to give away the black card. Fine, I'll take it. She wants to give away the room. Fine, I'll gladly accept. The next morning at breakfast, Shu Yunyun had no appetite. Sister, since it's your first day at school today, you must have the driver drop you off right at the main entrance, where everyone can see. That way no one will dare bully you in the future, and they'll know you're the legitimate daughter of the Shu family. A look of resilient understanding appeared on her face. I'll take the subway myself. Shu Lang immediately voiced his support. Yunyun, you are also a daughter of the Shu family. There's no need to make exceptions for certain people. As long as I'm here, no one is allowed to look down on you. He shot me a meaningful glare. I hear her inner thoughts, seeing my sister. I really feel so inferior. Although the family isn't short of money, I'm not a blood relative of the Shu family after all, so I must learn to be frugal. She wants to pin the label of bullying the adopted daughter on me from the very first day of school. At the end of her inner thoughts, I added an extremely malicious setup. Taking the subway will let everyone know that Shu Xiaoqiu bullied me. The boys in the class will definitely feel sorry for me. Upon hearing this, her parents' lingering guilt from yesterday completely vanished. Dad said coldly, if you want to experience the subway, go ahead and experience it. My mom turned to me and added more food to my plate, saying, Xiaoqiu, if anything happens at school, you can always come to Mom and Dad for help. I obediently said, okay, thank you, Mom, seeing that no one paid her any attention. Shu Yunyun had no choice but to grit her teeth and take the subway. Shu Lang has always looked down on someone like me, who comes from a humble background. He snorted coldly and accompanied Shu Yunyun to take the subway. Great. The car became my personal ride. I arrived at school early, but she and Shu Lang were almost late. She deliberately wiped the thin layer of sweat on her forehead and shared her feelings with a few boys sitting near her. Oh my, the subway was so crowded today. I almost ended up being late. The boys all turned their gazes toward me, their eyes filled with disdain. She must have already laid the groundwork with these people, painting a tragic picture of her life as a fake heiress in a wealthy family. Some people really are like sparrows flying up to a high branch, forgetting their own weight and worth. Yunyun, you're just too kind-hearted, just back for a few days and already putting on airs like a young lady, bullying others. Shu Yunyun quickly waved her hands, anxiously defending me. No, you've misunderstood my sister. It was my own decision to take the subway. It has nothing to do with her. She's just not used to sharing yet since she just came back. Her innocent thoughts surfaced at just the right moment. But Mom and Dad don't seem to protect me like they used to. I'm so envious of Shu Xiaoqiu effortlessly taking everything from me. Am I no longer loved? It hurts so much, hearing her inner voice. The boy's expressions grew even more sympathetic. With a single thought, I added a line after her inner voice of no one loves me. I better act pitiful quickly so the boys in the class will be my dogs. I'll deal with Shu Xiaoqiu later. Instantly, the expressions of those previously indignant boys froze. Their gazes toward Shu Yunyun shifted from fervent affection to humiliated anger. The boys scattered like birds and beasts. No matter how much Shu Yunyun pretended to be weak and tried to engage them, they ignored her. The look she gave me was filled with intense resentment. As for me, I smiled at her with an air of serene composure. At noon, in the school's upscale cafeteria, I was dining alone. Shu Yunyun approached me with her tray. Her eyes red and teary, she pleaded with me in a humble voice. Sister, could you give me some living expenses? I donated all my previous money to underprivileged students. And now I really don't even have enough for food. Her words immediately stirred the compassion of many classmates around her. The privileged fake heiress, who had always had it easy, was ruthlessly suppressed by the true heiress. This kind of topic could easily inspire a novel in everyone's minds. A financially struggling male student, who had occasionally received small favors from Shu Yunyun, stood up. Shu Xiaoqiu, you're going too far. Yunyun is so kind, how could you push her like this? Shu Yunyun felt a surge of satisfaction in her heart as the system's inner voice echoed once again. I donated all my allowance to those in need. I'd rather go hungry myself. As long as I can see those underprivileged students get an education, it's all worth it. Trying to play the role of a benevolent angel and emotionally blackmail me, I put down my chopsticks and added a line after her heartfelt words that completely shattered her persona. Ha, see that, with just a little show of weakness. These scholarship students will jump to defend me like loyal dogs. Life is just so easy. The scholarship student who had just been indignantly standing up for Shu Yunyun, his face instantly drained of all color. He widened his eyes in disbelief and, under the strange gazes of his classmates, finally fled the restaurant in embarrassment. Shu Yunyun was completely bewildered. She simply couldn't understand. Why did every time she revealed her true feelings, it always end up in an extremely unfavorable outcome for her? After returning home from school, I finished my homework and went to the kitchen to get some fruit. Walking past Shu Lang's room, I overheard the two good siblings whispering, "Brother, I really think there's something wrong with this Shu Xiaoqiu. I genuinely have her best interests at heart, so why have Mom and Dad clearly been disliking me lately? They've both been very cold to me. Yunyun, I didn't ask you last time. I know you don't like Shu Xiaoqiu, and I don't like her either, but last time when you gave her the black card, did you say that if she didn't accept it, you would jump off a building and commit suicide?" "Ah, no, brother. How could I possibly have such thoughts? I have such a loving family. Why would I ever commit suicide?" "Did she alter your innermost thoughts? Sister, how could you be so vicious?" "Brother, what about me then? I'm so scared." "Don't worry, let's test her again. I will definitely stand by you and drive her away." Me, I thought my brother Shu Lang was just deeply affectionate with her as siblings. Now it seems he has been fed tons of bewitching potions by Shu Yunyun. Clearly knowing that this outsider is targeting his own sister everywhere, not only did he not stop her, but he actively helped her add insult to injury, willingly letting himself be used by her. In that case, I can no longer act recklessly. Shu Yunyun has suffered repeated setbacks and must be suspecting that I tampered with her inner thoughts. She is bound to come up with a big move to test me next. Then this time, I'll play along with her act to the very end. From today onwards, I am the most innocent and harmless sweet little sister. I will believe everything she says. I will play along with whatever act she puts on. I will wait until she thinks she has victory in her grasp, then deliver the fatal blow. It was dinner time, and I was just about to go downstairs from the second floor, but I saw Shu Yunyun quicken her pace and rush ahead of me. Just as she was about to reach the last few steps, she suddenly slowed down and said to me, "Sister, you don't have to mind me, just pretend I don't exist in this family. I definitely won't affect your status as the young lady of the house." Her words set off a faint alarm in my heart. I was just about to watch coldly to see what act she was going to put on next. "Ah!" A scream rang out as she lost her balance and fell to the side. Almost simultaneously, Shu Lang returned with their mother, witnessing the entire scene. "Yunyun!" Mother exclaimed and rushed over. Shu Yunyun's eyes welled up with tears from the pain, her voice trembling with a sob. "Sister, I'm sorry. It was my own carelessness. I didn't stand steady. It really has nothing to do with you." Her words, seemingly meant to defend me, actually drew everyone's attention to me. Shu Lang quickly stepped forward, crouched down, and tried to help Shu Yunyun up. "Are you okay? Where did you fall?" "My ankle. It seems like I twisted my ankle." Shu Yunyun gasped in pain. Her eyebrows furrowed tightly together. Mom crouched down, carefully examining her ankle. "Oh dear, How did this happen? Driver, get the car ready, we need to go to the hospital for an X-ray. At that moment, I clearly heard Shu Yunyun's aggrieved inner thoughts. It hurts, but I can't tell Mom that my sister intentionally tripped me. Maybe she didn't mean to do it. She just hates me so much. After all, I stole her life. I sneered inwardly, but lowered my head and took the blame. Mom, I wasn't paying attention while going down the stairs and accidentally tripped my sister. It's all my fault. By taking responsibility, I cut off my mother's line of questioning. She scolded me lightly. Xiao Qiu, you're always hopping and skipping when you walk, not at all like a girl. You need to be more careful from now on. Shu Lang and Shu Yunyun quickly exchanged a glance. It seems it's confirmed. Shu Yunyun's inner thoughts haven't been altered. Shu Yunyun forced a relaxed smile. Mom, brother, don't blame sister anymore. I've forgiven her. After all, we're family. Seeing how reasonable she was being, Mom didn't say anything more in the end. We took Shu Yunyun to the hospital, and the examination results showed it was just a common ligament strain. I applied a bruise-relieving plaster and was sent back that same night. Of course, I wasn't going to take the blame for this. In the evening, I heated a cup of milk and brought it to my mother's study. She was watching the home surveillance footage on her computer and seemed somewhat agitated. Ha ha ha, heaven is really helping me out. I don't need to beat around the bush to remind her to take a look. Mom, have a glass of milk and rest early. Mom looked up and saw it was me, her expression softening a little as she sighed. Xiao Qiu, about the stairs today, I immediately interrupted her. Mom, I just got home. And maybe I unintentionally made my sister feel uneasy. If she blames me, I understand. As the older sister, it's okay if I endure a little grievance, as long as she feels better. After all, we are all family. My mother was silent for a moment and then held my hand. You're a good child, and we've wronged you. At the end of the month, we will officially add you to the family registry. Upon learning the arrangements for the recognition ceremony, Shu Yunyun was filled with panic and unease. The clan elders had chosen an auspicious day. In the Shu family ancestral hall, the tablets of the ancestors were stacked layer upon layer, creating a solemn and majestic atmosphere, according to tradition. It is required for an elder of the clan to hold the sacred divination blocks and cast them in front of the ancestral tablets to seek guidance. A positive response is indicated by one block landing face up and the other face down. Otherwise, it is considered a negative response. The clansman took a deep breath, his expression solemn as he reverently lifted the pair of ancient wooden divination blocks. He murmured incantations under his breath and then, with utmost piety, cast the divination blocks onto the ground. 3 throws, both divination blocks showed yin cups, signifying inauspiciousness and opposition. In an instant, my brother Shu Lang's face almost lit up. He didn't hide his joy at all, even becoming so elated that he started shouting loudly, "Look, I told you. The ancestors don't agree." Shu Lang, shut up. How dare you talk nonsense in front of the ancestors? Father's face darkened as he scolded sharply. Shu Lang reluctantly closed his mouth. But the joy on his face was hard to conceal. He even shamelessly leaned in close to me. "See, the ancestors don't acknowledge you. Don't even think about replacing Yunyun's position in our family." Shu Yunyun lowered her head, a hint of smugness flashing in her eyes. However, third uncle, who was presiding over the ceremony, spoke calmly. "All right, let's proceed with the second request." "What?" Shu Lang exploded on the spot. "We have to vote again. Why? Are we breaking the rules just for her? We already cast a vote of disagreement. This is clearly favoritism. You're just trying to give her a backdoor entry. If our ancestors knew about this, they'd be so furious they'd come back to life." His words not only questioned the rules but also openly cursed the ancestors. Father was completely enraged. "You insolent fool! How dare you act so recklessly in front of our ancestors? Get out and kneel in the side hall." 2 cousins from the side branch immediately stepped forward, one on each side. They restrained Shu Lang, who was still struggling and shouting, "I don't accept this. There's foul play. You're just favoring her." Dragged away by force, Shu Lang twisted his head back and screamed recklessly, "If this is the kind of family tree, I'd rather not be on it." It wasn't until he was dragged past the threshold of the ancestral hall that his cousin told him, The first person asked was Shu Yunyun, and I was only asked the second time. His face flushed bright red with anger. And at the same time, the sacred cup was cast down once more. Clatter, a crisp sound struck everyone's heart, one upright and one reversed. The Holy Grail, the ancestors agree, 3 times in a row, all in agreement. My name was solemnly written into the family register with a vermilion brush. I know in my heart that being able to cast the Holy Grail in one throw was partly due to luck, but I also know deeply that as long as my parents recognize me as their daughter, their hearts are with me. Having my name written on this thin piece of paper is just a matter of time. Shu Yunyun watched helplessly as the clan elder took a brush and crossed her name off the list. Her delicate body trembled violently, her face turned as pale as paper, and tears silently streamed down, making her look fragile and utterly defenseless. Then, that inner voice system activated once again. It's okay, even if I can't be recorded in the family registry, in my heart, I will always be Mom and Dad's daughter. Always a child of the Shu family, no one can take this bond of affection away from me. The opportunity had arrived. At the end of her seemingly deeply moving inner monologue, I added a shocking statement. After all, Shu Lang and I have long pledged our lives to each other. Once he takes control of the Shu family, won't it be just a word from him for me to enter the family registry however I please? Boom! That sentence exploded, plunging the ancestral hall into dead silence. Mom and Dad looked at Shu Yunyun in disbelief, then turned their gaze toward the direction where Shu Lang had been dragged away. The third elder and other senior clan members seated at the head were first stunned, then their faces flushed with overwhelming fury. How sacred is the ancestral hall, how hallowed is the clan registry, yet these 2 juniors treat them as mere playthings, even harboring such vile and rebellious thoughts that defy all moral principles. Third uncle's roar was like a thunderclap. You disgrace! Shu Yunyun was completely stunned, too scared to even cry. In the Shu family ancestral hall, the elders' voices were firm and unyielding. Contact her biological parents immediately and have them take her away. Shu Yunyun knelt on the ground, her face as pale as paper. The clan elders rose one after another, and the ceremony concluded. After the crowd dispersed, I slowly walked up to her. Congratulations, I said softly, yet clearly enough, you can finally return to your biological parents. She screamed at me, it's you, it's all you're doing. I curved my lips slightly, neither admitting nor denying it. When I returned to the Shu residence, my parents were already waiting in the living room. Their faces were ashen. Clearly having just come out of the study, there is the monitoring terminal for the entire mansion. I'm sure Mom and Dad must have seen quite a few mind-blowing scenes. For example, Shu Lang effortlessly twisted open Shu Yunyun's door late at night. For instance, the 2 of them snuggled on the living room sofa, with Shu Lang's fingers entwined in her hair, their posture intimate, and in the garden pavilion, the 2 of them were locked in an intimate embrace. Mom struggled to her feet, as if she needed to personally confirm the final truth. I'll go help her pack her things. Shu Yunyun's door was slightly ajar, and my mother reached out to push it open. Inside the door, the 2 were tightly embracing, passionately kissing. Shu Lang's hand had even slipped under Shu Yunyun's clothes. They were so engrossed that they didn't even notice the door being pushed open. Mom's handbag fell with a thud, startling the 2. Shu Lang turned around abruptly, his face drained of color. Shu Yunyun let out a short, sharp cry of alarm, frantically tugging at her disheveled collar. My father and I stood behind them, taking in the entire scene. Dad took a deep breath, and the last shred of pity he had for this adopted daughter turned completely to ashes. Pack your bags, Shu Lang. Your flight to the U.S. is next Monday to continue your studies. Yunyun, your biological parents will arrive tomorrow. Dad, please don't make me leave. My sister has endured hardships and can handle it. But I can't. What kind of life do my biological parents live? Forcing me to go is like sending me to my death. She suddenly pointed at me. It's her. She must have framed us. My mother defended me. Even now, you're still falsely accusing Xiaoqiu, since she returned. She has never spoken a single word against you, father said in a low voice. The Shu family will cover your tuition and living expenses until you graduate from college. This is already the utmost we can do. Xu Yunyun's face turned ashen, and Xu Lang completely lost control. Why are you tearing us apart? You're just like Fahai. You don't understand love at all. It's all because of Xu Xiaoqiu. Ever since this jinx came back, everything has changed. My father raised his hand and delivered a sharp slap, stubborn and unyielding. Xu Lang was struck so hard that his head turned to the side, yet he still glared at me with hatred in his eyes. My mother looked at him and said, "Xu Lang, we are so disappointed in you. Disappointed? You're the ones who disappoint me. For an outsider." "Who is the outsider?" my father interrupted sharply. "Xiao Qiu is our biological daughter, your own sister. Your own sister hasn't even come home yet, and you're already siding with Xu Yunyun. I don't care." Xu Lang screamed hysterically. "In my heart, only Yunyun is my sister." My parents called the bodyguards in to forcibly remove Xu Lang and lock him in the dark room. He struggled, cursing, his voice gradually fading away. Xu Yunyun was also helped up and taken away by the servants. As she passed by me, she lowered her voice and said, "I won't let you get away with this." As I turned to go back to my room, I heard my mother sobbing and asking, "Did we do something wrong?" My father was silent for a long time before saying, "The mistake was in being too indulgent." Early the next morning, as I went downstairs, I heard the butler reporting to my parents, "Young Master Xu Lang is on a hunger strike in protest." Miss Yunyun cried all night. My mother rubbed her temples. "Let them be." My father looked at me with a complicated expression. "Xiao Qiu, from now on, this family will depend on you. Don't worry, Dad, I won't let you and Mom down." That afternoon, Xu Yunyun's biological parents, who were also my adoptive parents in my previous life, stepped through the door of the Xu family. As soon as they entered, they habitually shouted at me, "What are you standing there for? Go pour some tea." I stood still without moving. My father's face darkened. "Mr. Wang, Mrs. Wang, this is not your home. Xiaoqiu is my daughter." The couple then awkwardly shut their mouths, but their eyes were still greedily scanning the furnishings in the living room. Xu Yunyun stood behind them, her face full of resistance. I knew she was making one last struggle. Sure enough, she activated the inner voice system. "I'd rather die than go back with them. I can't stand a single day of that impoverished life." In the past, these words would have surely softened her parents' hearts, but this time, they remained expressionless. What made it even more ironic was that her biological parents had also overheard this heartfelt cry, "Die." Her biological mother twisted her ear. "This worthless life of yours was given by me. Want to die? Even if we sell you to the mountains, you have to earn back the cost first." Xu Yunyun was beaten until she staggered and fell to the ground, looking at them in disbelief, then turning her gaze to my parents. My mother couldn't bear it in the end and turned her head away. My father spoke coldly, "Enough, take her away, but if you dare mistreat her, I wouldn't dare, I wouldn't dare." Her mother immediately put on a fawning expression. Before leaving, my mother slipped Xu Yunyun a card. "There's $1 million in here, keep it for your living expenses at school. The password is your birthday, don't let them know." I thought that was the end of it, until 3 days later, I saw Wang Qiong on my social media feed, my adoptive brother from my previous life, showing off his newly bought sports car. The caption read, "Finally picked up the car, next time, I'll go pick up my sister." My internal alarm bells started ringing. This scene is all too familiar. In my past life, they pushed me step by step into a corner just like this. Sure enough, the next day, Wang Qiong showed up at the entrance of our school. He was dressed in brand-name clothes, leaning against a sports car, and as soon as he saw me, he shouted loudly, "Xiao Qiu, your brother is here to pick you up. Look, I have money now." The classmates all turned to look. I turned to leave with a cold expression, but Wang Qiong quickly stepped in front of me, his greasy hand almost touching my arm. "Stop pretending," he shouted loudly. "Yunyun told me everything. You're just a punching bag in the Xu family. No one takes you seriously at all." I stared at him coldly without responding. Seeing that I remained unmoved, his tone grew even more smug. "Wouldn't it be great to come back to the hometown with me? I've got plenty of money now. I'll make sure you live a life of luxury." As he spoke, he deliberately jingled the car keys in his hand. "Step aside." My voice was like ice. Who are you trying to fool with that act of purity? He sneered, lowering his voice as he leaned in closer. Yunyun has already arranged everything. She'll marry your brother, and you'll marry me. That's what you call strengthening family ties. In the future, all the Shu family's money will be ours. I immediately understood Shu Yunyun's scheme. She had given all that 1 million to her adoptive parents. By using the inner voice system, they continuously hinted at this poisonous plan of swapping marriages in their ears. Not only did they get revenge on me, but they could also continue to leech off the Shu family through her brother. What a clever move to kill two birds with one stone. Dream on, I said word by word, each syllable dripping with ice. He still wanted to pester me, but fortunately, the bodyguard showed up just in time and stopped him at the school gate. That evening, I told my parents exactly what had happened. My father was furious. Did he really say that? What a Shu Yunyun, what a Wang family. My mother trembled with anger. How dare they even think of such a thing? The next day, my bodyguards increased from 2 to 4. My father went so far as to call the Wang family directly to warn them, if you dare harass Xiao Qiu again, I'll make sure you learn the true meaning of regret. The person on the other end of the phone timidly agreed, but I knew this matter wouldn't end so simply. Watching that 1 million yuan being squandered by Wang Qiong on sports cars and luxury goods, Shu Yunyun began to panic. At first, she still held on to a glimmer of hope. She thought Wang Qiong would leave some money for her out of sibling affection, but she soon realized she had been too naive. Not only did Wang Qiong buy 2 sports cars, but he also became addicted to gambling. In just 1 month, he lost all the remaining money. What made her even more desperate was returning to that cramped and dilapidated home. Her adoptive parents looked at her as if she were a cash cow, not only making her handle all the household chores but also frequently mocking her with sarcastic remarks. Do you still think you're a young lady? You can't even do these tasks properly. If she showed the slightest dissatisfaction, her adoptive father would grab a belt and whip her. Once meticulously maintained hands were now covered in scars and calluses. She tried to contact Xu Lang for help, but Xu Lang had been sent by his parents to a strictly managed boarding school abroad. There, students were not allowed to use mobile phones, and all communications had to be reviewed by the school. The dozen or so letters she sent out all went unanswered. That day in the school library, I happened to run into Shu Yunyun. She was hiding in a corner between the bookshelves, nibbling on a piece of bread. Her once carefully maintained hair had become dry and frizzy, her skin rough and dull, with heavy dark circles under her eyes. She glared at me viciously, then lowered her head and hurried away. At first, she would still go back to that house on weekends. Later, I noticed that she would rather stay in the school dormitory eating instant noodles than go back. However, trouble still found its way to her. One weekend, Wang Qiong barged into the school and cornered Shu Yunyun under the teaching building. Worthless brat, hurry up and get me more money. If you could come up with 1 million, you must have more. I have no money left. Really, I don't. Stop playing dumb. Wang Qiong slapped her across the face. The Shu family is so rich. How could you not get any money? Students gathered around to watch the commotion, pointing and whispering about her. Look at her. She really does come from a humble background. I heard her biological parents are gamblers. She acted so high and mighty before, but it turns out it was all fake. These remarks pierced Shu Yunyun's heart like knives. The elegant image she had painstakingly built over the years crumbled in an instant. In desperation, Shu Yunyun's adoptive parents came up with a malicious plan. Pretending to care, they lured her back home and then locked all the doors and windows. What's the use of a girl reading so many books? Old Zhong from the neighboring village is willing to offer a dowry of 300,000. Get ready. You're marrying him next week. That old Zhong is a bachelor in his 50s, addicted to alcohol, and his first 2 wives were beaten and driven away by him. She knelt on the ground, pleading desperately, "Mom, please, let me continue my studies. I promise I'll earn money to take care of you in the future. Take care of us." Her father kicked her and said, "We're giving you the chance to do that right now. Old Zhong is coming tomorrow with the betrothal gifts. You better stay put." Seeing that she had no one to turn to for help, she immediately thought of other crooked schemes. That same day, Xu Lang, who had just returned from studying abroad, was taken away by the police at the airport. At the same time, a letter of complaint was sent to my father's company. Xu Yunyun accused Xu Lang of rape in court. It was Xu Lang who forced me. In the police station, she cried with pearly tears streaming down her face. Starting 3 years ago, he used his status as my brother to repeatedly coerce me into having relations with him. I have kept photos of the scars he left and the written promise he gave me. No one could have imagined that her affair with Xu Lang would be exposed in this way. When the news reached the Xu family, my mother nearly fainted from anger. My father was also pacing anxiously. The board urgently convened a meeting, demanding an explanation from my father. Xu Yunyun sent me a text message. Xu Xiaoqiu, do you think you've won against me? Let me tell you, if I can't have it, no one will. In this lifetime, she intends to drag everyone down to hell. In the courtroom, Xu Lang's performance left everyone disheartened. Even after repeated persuasion from the lawyer, he stubbornly defended Xu Yunyun. It's all my fault, I forced Yunyun. She knew she couldn't resist. So she had no choice but to comply. His mother wept in the gallery, while his father's clenched fists bulged with veins. When the lawyer presented the surveillance footage of the two intimately embracing in the room, Xu Lang actually said, "That was my threat to her. She was never willing." I sat in the public gallery, watching Xu Lang's stubborn and unyielding expression. Suddenly, I understood his and Xu Yunyun's plan. They wanted to extort a huge sum of money from the Xu family through this charge, then disappear without a trace. Sure enough, during the court recess, I overheard Xu Yunyun say to Xu Lang, "Once you plead guilty, we'll say you did it because you love me. By then, your parents will definitely give us money to protect you." Xu Lang gently stroked her hair and said, "I'm sorry you have to go through this. Once we get the money, we'll go abroad and start a new life." They had it all figured out, but they underestimated my parents' resolve. Before the final court session, my father met with Xu Lang alone and said, "It's not too late to drop the charges. As long as you admit that Xu Yunyun incited you to give false testimony, we can go easier on you." Xu Lang sneered coldly, "Stop pretending. I know you can't bear to see your son go to jail. Prepare 50 million. And we'll drop the charges." My mother was completely heartbroken. How could we have raised a son like you? After the trial began, Xu Lang still insisted on pleading guilty. The judge repeatedly confirmed, "Are you certain you wish to plead guilty to the charge of rape?" "I am certain," Xu Lang stated resolutely. At that moment, my father slowly rose to his feet. "Your Honor, we respect the facts. If the evidence is conclusive, please render judgment in accordance with the law." Xu Lang was stunned. He clearly hadn't expected his parents to be so resolute. In the end, Xu Lang was sentenced to 7 years in prison for rape. Although Xu Yunyun received 100,000 yuan in compensation, the money was directly transferred to her parents, falling far short of the million yuan they had imagined. Even more ironically, because she tried to prove she was raped, her parents felt she was no longer valuable and forced her to drop out of school. They married her off to a bachelor in his 50s. The bride price was only 50,000 yuan. I found out where Xu Yunyun was and decided to go see her. It was a dilapidated farmhouse courtyard, and Xu Yunyun was drawing water from the well, her belly swollen with pregnancy, her face was bruised, and she walked with unsteady steps. When she saw me, a flicker of resentment flashed in her eyes. "What are you doing here?" "To laugh at me," she said coldly. Just then, a drunken man emerged from the house. It was her husband, old Zhong. Xu Yunyun suddenly gave me a strange smile, and I immediately sensed she was using the mind reading system. My sister is a young lady from a wealthy family, with skin so tender you could squeeze water from it. If you can have your way with her, you'll have all the money you want in the future. Old Zhong's eyes immediately lit up, and he staggered toward me. My bodyguard immediately stepped forward to block him. Just then, Xu Yunyun's phone rang. She answered the call. Wang Qiong had died on the spot after a severe car accident on the highway caused by speeding. Her parents had already come to the door, cursing and swearing, threatening to beat her to death for being a troublemaker. She crouched down, clutching her stomach. "My stomach, it hurts so much." Seeing this, old Zhong didn't offer any help. Instead, he started cursing and swearing. "Worthless girl, stop pretending. I watched Shu Yunyun's painful state and had the bodyguard call an ambulance. On the way to the hospital, she kept staring at me intently. "It's you, it's all because of you." I looked at her calmly. "It was Wang Qiong's own greed that killed him. It was your own choices that brought you to this day." She gave birth prematurely to a frail and sickly child. Because of this difficult birth, she permanently lost her ability to bear children. Old Zhong felt she had completely lost her value and often beat and kicked her. Meanwhile, my parents decided to move away from this city and hand the company over to professional managers to run. My dad said, "This city has left us with nothing but painful memories." Before going abroad, we went to visit Xu Lang in prison together. He looked disheveled and stared at me with a fierce expression, saying, "Xu Xiaoqiu, you bitch, how dare you show your face here? It's all your fault that I ended up like this." Mom and Dad turned and left without saying another word to him. As we boarded the flight abroad, my mother held my hand and said, "Xiaoqiu, from now on, the family is counting on you." Meanwhile, in prison, Xu Lang finally realized he had been deceived after learning about Shu Yunyun's plight. He applied for a sentence reduction multiple times, but all his requests were denied. After all, it was he who personally signed the confession to the rape charge.